Welcome, everyone, to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me across all of social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is the host of the podcast Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks. It's Bill Kimler. You can follow him across all of social media at politicalbillsc. If you want to participate in the show, you can chat with us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. You can find links at the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. Please follow and subscribe wherever you hear us. Let's get started. Happy New Year, Bill.
Happy New Year. And I got to thank you for the shout out you gave Black, White, and Blue in the South in your latest episode of the All About Nothing. I loved your interview, but then you started talking about gubernatorial candidate Dr. Jermaine Johnson.
Yeah.
And the first thing out of your mouth was he had an awesome interview with the Breakfast Club and Charlemagne the God. And that was just great. And I'm sitting there cursing you. I'm going, that son of a gun. And then before I finished the curse, you pivoted directly to Black, White, and Blue in the South and went on for another 30 seconds about how good of an unscripted, unrehearsed interview that was compared to something that was more polished with, the Breakfast Club. So I appreciated the goodwill there, and I was back to loving you and hating you all within the same minute.
That's fair.
Very kind of you.
Now, and I've actually gone back and listened to that interview 2 more times, yours, because ultimately we're going to have Dr. Jermaine Johnson on coming up probably later this month. We haven't worked out the details exactly because he is beginning to get busier and busier. One, with of course, they're going to be in session here in the next couple of weeks. And then 2, his campaign is going to be really kicking it into high gear. So fingers crossed, we're going to start seeing a lot more Dr. Jermaine Johnson for governor signs popping up everywhere, Hey,
before we get into the topics, because I know a couple of things have happened recently that are of importance, I'm sure. But I just want to share with you a stream of TikTok videos that I've gotten addicted to. I got to send you a link to a few of them.
Okay.
Have you heard of the software called Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator?
I've heard of it, and I think that I have seen a couple, and you're gonna have to refresh my memory, which I think you're gonna enjoy doing anyway. But I think I have heard of that, and I have seen some videos on TikTok.
Yeah, so you create the characters, you create the strengths and weaknesses and characteristics of all these characters, and then you put them to battle and let the simulator battle it out.
Yes.
And the videos that I've watched were just ludicrous. Like, I think it was meant to demonstrate, how the Roman army would have fared against the Mongols, right? So you pit 2 different historical armies that never met, put them against each other, see what would happen. But what I get into is when they have Godzilla versus 100,000 Mike Tysons.
Yeah.
And they just battle it out. And I am absolutely riveted by these videos because of the scenarios they come up with. You have the Avengers versus a million Chuck Norrises, Yeah.
The one the Chuck Norris thing is completely just not realistic whatsoever. But I think I watched it was like 100 or 1 million Kermit frogs versus the Avengers.
Yes,
and somehow
that was it.
Yeah,
the frogs won.
Yeah, somehow the frogs defeated the Avengers, or the Kermits defeated. And I'm gonna give it to Kermit, having 1 million duplicates of himself probably would.
Well, I watched one yesterday, and I think the answer lies in the volume of your army, how many you have, and not necessarily what their strengths are. Because I saw 2 million monkeys go to battle against the entire U.S. Army, like with ballistic missiles and rockets and tanks and all that stuff. And the monkeys won because there was 2 million of them versus 100,000 U.S. Army members.
Yeah. I have those. I have not. I often think that maybe that they've created this not necessarily just to see what would happen if you had 10,000 Roman soldiers versus 10,000 Mongols, or the Egyptians versus whatever. I think it's also to test the limits of a graphics card because
it's incredible. I mean, to have that many simultaneous battles happening, with million versus million, and I don't know what computer they use to process that CPU, but it does a good job at it.
It does. It absolutely does.
And who knows? We may be heading towards a future dystopia where we may have to worry about 2 million monkeys doing battle against the U.S. Army. That could very well be the case.
Could you imagine the U.S. being involved in a ground war again? Like, what was the last ground war?
See, I'm trying to pivot us back to the subject at hand. You see how we're smooth we're doing there? You can barely even tell.
Actually, I was going to bring up the fact that are you going to try and see the monks that are walking from Fort Worth, Texas, all the way to Washington, D.C.?
I don't know that I am.
Okay.
I mean,
the closest they're going to get to you is Saluda.
Well, McCormick.
Oh, are they going to get okay?
Yeah, they're coming south past McCormick. You know, so it's not a big deal to go see them. But I would ask you why.
Why I'm going to see them just because they're only going to be 2 miles away, you know.
But why? There's a lot of things 2 miles away. You're not going to go see that. Why are you going to go see these monks?
Because I don't think I'd have the opportunity to see. I don't think that there are a lot of people that do this. That you know, I think the message is valuable. I think that for me to go out there and be of the peace and love group rather than the stories that I'm seeing across some of social media where they're walking in front of churches and the churches are calling the police on them, or they have people protesting them. These monks literally just walking.
One of the monks got run over by a car. Did you see that?
I did.
Out in Georgia, a monk got run over by a car, lost his legs, both legs, I think. And now he's rejoining his group, you know, in a wheelchair. But my goodness.
I don't understand
So what are you going to go? You're going to go to defend them? Is that what you're going to do? I'm going to be on the lookout for an evil church guy yelling at them. You're going to yell back?
I might. You know,
that'd be great. Seeing riots break out up and down the street as the peaceful monks walk by. Monks. That's good. Okay. They're really having a good effect. They're really calming and unifying this nation. Yeah. Good for them. You know what? I say let them walk. I mean, walking's good. They're monks. It's what they do. But do I feel like they're going to have one iota of a difference made in this country today?
No.
I got to take the view that no, they're going to end up in Washington. They're going to say some speeches. The peaceful people will support them. The warmongering people will oppose them. And that's how it's going to be. Not a single mind will be changed at the end of it. I would like to hear a story of a red hat, you know, let's bomb them all type of individual who went and saw the monks and had their life change. You show me one individual like that, then maybe I'll be convinced.
Yeah. Those optics, I don't think we're going to get just based on the path that they have taken from Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and now Georgia. They're just to the west of Augusta, I think, walking towards their next rest stop. But yeah, I agree. I don't think that.
Are they taking just back roads? Are they going down the highway?
They're on They're on 378, which is one of the major highways running east and west between Georgia and South Carolina right now. But
and then what if they end up on a road that's under construction? Like I gotta imagine what kind of planning there is.
I imagine there's probably someone here stateside that is likely probably directing the path of least resistance, even though they continue to run in resistance. So,
all right. Well, I'll tell you what, they're coming through Columbia, and that's just a spit's throw from you. Go get an interview. Get one of them on the podcast.
Yeah, I'll see if I can. I'll look. I did the parade with Colonel Hightower. I had to keep up with him and the rest of the group that was walking with him. So
have you read the proper protocol for engaging with the monks?
I haven't. I need to look at
there's a certain protocol. They don't like to be spoken to.
Okay.
And apparently you're supposed to, out of respect. Now, this is not them issuing any demands. I mean, they're just doing their thing. But they say that in that culture, you don't make direct eye contact. That's considered rude, unless you're talking with them directly. But otherwise, the proper thing to do is to keep your head bowed in respect, your hands folded in prayer as they walk past. And you're supposed to clear your brain and meditate as they stroll by. Basically, you're supposed to miss the whole thing. And then you would have done it properly. So if you have gone, closed your eyes, bowed your head, and emptied your brain as they walk by, you would have done the perfect handling of the monks walking by.
I will video myself in meditation maybe, and we'll put that up as a short or something.
What you shouldn't do is run over any of them with a car.
No.
That's on the bad side of the protocol.
First of all, there's a fairly large group of them. How is it that
from what I read, I don't know all the details. They weren't directly hit by the car. It was a car hit another car that rolled into one of the monks, crushing his legs.
Okay.
But still, I mean, how are they that close to traffic?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That to me, that strikes as just the normal, the likelihood that I'm going to be stepping out of my car at the grocery store and somebody not pay attention and pin me between my car and their front bumper, you know.
Well, let's be honest. Every time you sit in the driver's seat, you feel pinned, don't you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
You come across as a claustrophobic individual.
I have, you know what though? I have gone spelunking and it not bothered me.
No, you haven't.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's something I won't do. I have no desire to go spelunking. I will watch the videos of others doing it. Nope. I saw that cave movie where they had to go rescue the boys in the cave. And I was like, nope, not for me. I'm not going down any of them grounds. No, sorry.
In Boy Scouts, we did several trips where we camped we camped out in the cave. I think it was the Lost Cave, maybe in Tennessee or Kentucky or something like that. But yeah, we've done spelunking where it was a set path that you went on, and even before you got on the trail that you were exploring, there were certain places that were so tight or confining they had actually recreated them with like wood frame boxes.
Yeah. I mean, if it's all done up with pre-made paths, I can do that. Like I've been to the Luray caverns near Staunton, Virginia.
Okay.
Those caverns are some of the most amazing sights you will ever see. You go deep into the earth. You see these stalactites and stalagmites. You see an actual organ that was built out of the rock. Like it used the rock formations. They built an organ into it and they played it. It was incredible. Some of the most beautiful things you'll ever see under the ground. But that was all touristy, laid out, no chance for damage. But you go spelunking, I mean, you're being lowered by a rope.
All right. Now, okay. So now that we've clarified the difference between the tourist cave visit versus the actual
you didn't go spelunking.
Nope. I'm the same. I'm not
okay.
exploring. Like,
okay, so you went for a hike in the forest and you call that mountain climbing. You did rock climbing, right?
Right,
or
for sure.
You went to like a indoor park and you climbed up the side of a wall. Yeah, I did some rock climbing. I did some wall face climbing.
If it's not a classification on my watch as a workout, I'm probably not doing it. Actually, even if it is, I'm probably not doing it. That's that's just me. Did also want to give an update. The beard is not blue, obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube. Zach and I did have a short conversation about it. I told him specifically about what we had discussed previously, and that is if the Super Bowl gets here and my beard still is not blue, he has until the final second to do whatever it is that we're going to do. But I'm going to say this. I'm so frustrated with my hair as long as it is and my beard as long as it is, because I will keep the beard blue for whatever time we've agreed to, a week, 2 weeks, whatever, but then it's being shaved off. And my head, I'm going to get a haircut, because I know right now, if I go ahead and get my haircut, I'm probably going to tell the stylist to trim the beard too. Because
as interesting as your body hair is, let's go back to the NFL for a second. So you lost this bet because Carolina beat Atlanta twice this season, right?
Yeah.
So then what kind of insult to injury was it that it was Atlanta's win that allowed the Panthers to back into the playoffs?
Hey, for all those Carolina Panthers fans out there that I did not believe in, that I didn't believe in a Carolina Panthers team that could beat the Falcons 2 games in a season, because I didn't think that Carolina has the talent. I didn't think they have the coaching. I am still of that mindset. I still don't think they have the talent or the coaching. The fact that the NFL in the NFC South, we have a 3-way tie for first place with what is probably the worst Atlanta team, not based on talent, based on coaching. We have
and talent too. It's not like you have a talented quarterback there. Come on.
Kirk Cousins is, he's he's 2 or 3 years younger than me. I don't know how old he is. He was 37, 40, 42. I don't know, but I don't disagree.
All I can say is that if the Eagles made it into the playoffs due to a Cowboys team who was already out of contention already, if they needed a Cowboys win to back into the playoffs, I would tell the Eagles, out of self-respect, pass on the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Just say, nah, we're good.
I'm not sure.
And don't even show up.
I'd like to think that a team could potentially say, you know what, NFL, this isn't our year. We don't need the spotlight. We're going to
like the Steelers. The Steelers do not need to be in the playoffs.
No.
There is no reason why they should be in the playoffs at all.
It bugs me that Aaron Rodgers made the playoffs.
Yeah.
It bugs me because
and why? Because the Ravens kicker on a chip shot field goal missed it. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
I will say it until I am blue in the face, but Aaron Rodgers, the NFL should have no respect for Aaron Rodgers. Like, it shouldn't. And the way he plays, to me, he still plays like the guy that thinks that if something goes wrong, it's always somebody else's fault. It's not his fault remotely. So,
well, again, his denial goes back to the COVID denial, right?
Yeah.
He was all about the pandemic and denial that it's a problem and vaccines are bad for you. So,
this was a guy that fully believed that vaccines were not for him and they shouldn't be for anybody else.
But no, didn't he lie? Didn't he say he was vaccinated?
Yeah.
And then it turned out he wasn't?
Vaccinated. Well, because you had to be vaccinated to play that year.
Yeah.
But then he spends 3 months in Peru sitting doing peyote and whatever, what was he doing? The ayahuasca, like he's doing ayahuasca. I doubt you do it alone. I've never done it. I don't know. I've heard people do it.
You're supposed to do it with a spiritual advisor guiding you through the process.
Yeah. But the symptoms of someone who is doing ayahuasca,
which would make for a good episode, by the way.
I don't disagree. If you know what,
if you can find somebody locally, I will come out to your place. I'll crash for the night, and you and I can be led on a spiritual ayahuasca quest.
All right, I will.
All right,
that is something I could potentially find. So
I'm there.
Okay,
I'm there.
We'll film the whole thing. We'll do it like in Ghost Adventures format, where they have infrared cameras that are just on us constantly the whole time.
Why can't we have the lights on? Why do we have to have infrared? I don't want to be in the dark. I'll be tripping as it is. I think I'm gonna be in the dark with you. No, thank you.
I've never harmed anyone that on accident. But so it's that is all right. That is my challenge. I will put that out there in Reddit and see what we can find. Maybe there's a Craigslist. Does Craigslist still exist?
Oh God, if you're finding your spiritual quest advisor in Craigslist, I think we're fucked.
Yeah, that's probably true. Hey, all resources available is the way I look at it.
All I want to know is I'm going to get tripping on ayahuasca and then listen to that Lemmy the Leprechaun bumper that you open your episodes with now for ZJZ Designs. And I'm going to be completely flipping out over it.
Yeah. The episode today published late because apparently I did not know that I could mix different bit rates of the podcast episode with like the pre-roll. So the Lenny the Leprechaun or Liam the Leprechaun, that is in a higher bit rate than the episode is.
That's because I did it, and I can only give you the highest quality.
Right. So ultimately, I have to go back and take it down and redo it at 192 basically.
You had to resample it at a lower quality because your podcast is such shit quality that you couldn't even take a commercial and incorporated it. That's just.
Are you telling me your podcast is coming out there at 256?
It is.
Rate? Is it? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Well, I can step it up. I was just saving space.
What are you saving some bucks? There's no bucks to be saved there.
No,
it's just laziness. That's just
memory.
Being not interested in the quality of your output. And I could tell. I can tell the difference.
It's look, Bill, it's not the quality, it's the quantity.
Hey, you got quantity. There's no doubt about that. All right, well, we're out of time.
Yeah, exactly. We did actually step into season 9 of the All About Nothing podcast.
Congrats.
This is the 9th season, and we are fast approaching our 300th episode is going to be coming up here probably in March. I think I don't think we have anything special planned for it.
You know what you should do? Since I'm full of great ideas today.
Yeah. Ayahuasca.
300 is a special number. What does 300 normally come up as?
It was that movie with...
No, not okay. So there's a movie you can have a Spartan themed show where you're dressed with the painted on abs, right? We can all paint our abs on and be all bronzed up like the movie 300. I was thinking something more practical that you're involved in once a week.
Once a week.
300 represents I
don't know. I'm a completely a loss.
I think you do it every Wednesday. Something you do one evening a week.
Bowling
with others.
Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday nights we bowl.
So Tuesday nights, and so a 300 is a perfect game. So maybe you do a bowling theme, or you do it from the bowling alley.
Yeah, we could do that. And
I mean, shit, you've done it from kickball. You might as well do it with a real sport like bowling. Why not?
Hold on. First of all, I detest bowling so much.
Oh, do you really? Why do you do it every Tuesday then?
Because I have friends that if I don't come out of the house once a week, then they begin to think that there's something wrong with me. So I have to keep up the act. I go to bowl.
Well, coming out of the house and showing up in person is the most sure way of knowing there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. Then they get a first
out of sight, out of mind.
But yeah, we have talked about doing an episode. The problem with doing an episode at Lucky Strike in Casey, which I'll give a ding there. The problem with doing that is it is so loud in there, and I don't think any amount of noise canceling would cut out. And I feel like I'd probably have to have at least like some sort of an aerial mic or a boom mic to get the quality of the strikes and whatnot. Maybe I could run.
I'm sure you can talk to the other patrons to be quiet for a little bit while you do a recording.
Yeah.
Or at least do like a 5-minute pause in between throwing the ball down the lane. I'm sure they would perfectly be happy to accommodate you.
There's a lot of beer and liquor sold.
Or you could just rent the facility out and make it a private event.
That's true.
I mean, all the money you've collected from your Patreon. I mean, shit.
I mean,
you could rent out that facility.
We keep talking about that.
You were just telling me how with your LLC, you have to spend the money to keep the brand. So there you go.
I do.
It's a great way to spend money. Drop a couple grand at the bowling alley.
You're not wrong. Hey, Randy Quaid is going to be back at the Coastal Comic Con.
Your best friend.
Yeah. So it'll be another event where I will probably not get an interview with him, because in order to get an interview with him, it has to be his wife asking the questions. That is just how he rolls.
Can you dress up as his wife and fool him into thinking that you're Mrs. Quaid?
No. I tried to give it some serious consideration.
If you were high on ayahuasca, thinking you were Mrs. Quaid, I bet you could pull it off.
Maybe I could talk Randy Quaid into doing a night of ayahuasca.
Shit, if he doesn't have it in his front pocket, I'd be disappointed.
I don't even know what it is. So I'll have to. I'm going to research that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Speaking of South America and ayahuasca. I guess, for the last couple of minutes, I want to preface this by saying that Maduro is not a good guy.
All right, stop. Why do we have to preface this? You are falling into the messaging that everybody else has to. In fact, I belong to some Democratic messaging groups, and they said, here's the message and how to construct it.
Oh, really?
And you have to start it off with saying, we don't support Maduro. He's a bad guy. Yet at the same time, what Trump is doing is wrong too.
Okay, I'll do it in reverse.
Why do we have to couch this?
I'll do it in reverse. I think, in my opinion, I think Venezuela is one of the worst places on the planet in respect to stabilized nations and hemispheres. Maduro, Chavez, it doesn't matter who's in charge, because everyone that has had an opportunity to run that country.
How many countries could you put in that same category? Right off the top of your head, how many can you name?
30.
Exactly. Right. It's nothing unique to Venezuela.
Yeah.
Except for the oil reserves.
Yeah.
Right. That's the only thing that's unique, is that they're sitting on a ton of raw, unrefined crude.
Heavy crude.
And we just so happen to have refineries in the Gulf of Mexico along the Texas-Louisiana line that can process it.
Yeah.
And you're right. With bad leadership in Venezuela, they've been pumping out a fraction of what they used to pump out decades ago. But if it wasn't for that oil, do you think Trump and the oil companies that donated $1 billion to his campaign would give a shit about this country?
Not a single drop of care.
How many African dictators have we kidnapped and brought to trial?
I don't think we have any.
How many Middle East? How many Korean? How many Soviet dictators have we? None.
None. Not a single one.
We're going after none of them.
We didn't get Hitler. We didn't get, who was before Gorbachev? It doesn't matter. Regardless. Yeah.
Nikita Khrushchev.
Khrushchev. That's it. I think you're right. I think it was Khrushchev. But yeah, no, you're 100% correct. This is quite literally
but the only reason why you had to open it up that way, Barrett, is because the number one Republican attack, they come right out and they've already said it. Democrats support a dictator.
Right. No, Republicans
and that line is so fucked up. I don't even want to acknowledge it with my own counter explanation. That's just wimpiness.
But I'm still appalled that that Donald Trump and the Department of Defense went completely around Congress, and that Mike Johnson and whoever the fucking Senate leader is, majority leader,
John Thune.
Thune, that's it.
But I'm glad I'm here to know stuff for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. The fact that neither one of them spoke out in opposition or a reaction to what was basically Donald Trump saying, "Fuck you, Congress. I'm going to do whatever it is I want to do, and you all are going to sit there and just like it." That to me is just insane. Unbelievably insane. The precedent that they are setting is basically, when the Democrats do control the White House again and do control the House and do control the Senate, that the precedent that the Republicans are setting in Congress is basically saying, we're going to be comfortable with watching you all do the exact same thing, that the next president can operate as however he wants, issuing whatever.
I hope that president does. We've already talked about, I hope they confiscate Mar-a-Lago, take it over, shut it down, whatever. And one of the rationalizations that I've seen on why it was a perfectly good deal to go into a foreign country, kidnap the leader of that country, and then try him in your own country for some hypothetical charges. I'm going to talk about those charges in a second. Yeah. But one of the rationalizations are the videos of people cheering in the streets of Venezuela, saying, we're glad he's gone, and Venezuelans praising this arrest. Not all of them, but they cherry pick some videos, and there are truly celebrations happening in the streets. But I tell you this, Barrett, if somebody swooped down and kidnapped Melania and Donald and took them off to another land, you have any idea what kind of cheering and dancing in the streets will happen in this country?
At least, I would guess at least 80 million.
I mean, if that is the only qualification needed, the only criteria needed to be able to do such a thing, that I encourage other countries to come in and attempt this here, because there will be dancing in the streets, there will be cheering online and everywhere else in public. Let's do it. If that's now the bar that we set.
I liked the president of Ukraine's response to they can do that now. One more time, Yeah. Of course.
So the charges. Yeah. So this Department of Justice has filed charges in New York.
How does that work? How does the Department of Justice? Okay, so I'm sorry, it was the Department of Justice. For some reason in my head, I was thinking Department of Defense. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So the Department of Justice. Now let's talk about their track record on indicting people and getting it through. You know of a guy named James Comey?
Yeah. 0 for 2 on Comey.
Yeah. Well, who's the other one? Letitia James. They've tried to go after 3 times. 0 for 3.
Yeah.
Right. This isn't a Department of Justice that's got even a pair of marbles rolling around in their head.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if if they couldn't get a grand jury to indict Maduro based on any evidence they have.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And yet every Republican has lined up saying he is a narco terrorist.
Okay,
whatever that means.
Narco-terrorism.
Right? Listen, I think, just roll back 1 year. Roll back 1 year. Find me one Republican, including Trump himself, who was crying about Venezuela sending drugs in this country.
None.
Zero. Right? Yeah. They were crying about China sending it through Mexico. Right? There was no worry about Venezuela sending stuff up our way.
Well, and the fact is still that there is no fentanyl. And when I say no, it is incredibly small amount, if it exists at all. There is no fentanyl coming out of Venezuela and going anywhere. The only thing that comes out of Venezuela, according to the DEA, and this is Trump's DEA, is marijuana and cocaine. And the marijuana and cocaine, out of 1,000 samples taken, the cocaine has almost zero trace to Venezuela. So Venezuela is not sending its cocaine here. This is based on Trump's DEA, that the testing that's been done on confiscated cocaine has not come out of Venezuela. The marijuana is a little harder to test, but the likelihood is that marijuana isn't arriving in the United States from Venezuela.
If you want to just stop the demand, I mean, forget about worrying about the supply. You cut the demand off, you have no supply.
Legalize
it. Start with Donald Trump Jr. and his nose. Yeah. You can cut half the supply or the demand right there.
100% agree. Look, I was telling a friend today, literally we were having this exact same conversation. And I said to him, you want to fight narco terrorism? Then create a system in the United States that regulates the drugs. It's already, just make it legal. Make every single drug legal. Most of the drugs that are considered illegal are already legally available in the United States via prescription.
I'll tell you what was kind of funny. I went to New Jersey over this winter break to visit my family. They live in South Jersey, just across the river from Philadelphia.
How's Ralphie? So how's Three Balls? Yeah, sorry.
So I'm crossing the Walt Whitman Bridge into New Jersey.
Yeah.
Normally the billboards there are about the casinos in Atlantic City.
Sure.
A lot of casinos. No more casino ads on the billboards. It's
really?
All weed ads. Like Santa Wants Weed was the first billboard that I saw when I crossed the bridge into New Jersey.
That's crazy.
And it was, your CBD store, your weed store, come visit Weed Depot. You would love New Jersey, my friend.
I would. Look,
it changed. I mean, it wasn't like that the last time I visited, but you know what? There's some new leadership there, and now it's all about the weed.
You know what? And the next Jay and Silent Bob movie that comes out,
right?
I feel for the business that they've probably lost because
you could be Silent Bob. I'll be the Jay. We can do our own film.
I think Zach and his wife already have the costumes.
No kidding.
Yeah, they dressed up as Jay and Silent Bob for Halloween a couple years ago. So, but I can't imagine Zach being silent. It doesn't, I do love those movies, and I like New Jersey. But I would really like for South Carolina to take on the same, legalize it, tax it, whatever. Just allow people to grow it. Because based on some of the statistics out of California, when it was legalized, the number one group that benefited from marijuana being grown was cancer patients. The fact that was one of the largest groups that saw a benefit, not only because they were growing it themselves and no longer buying it, that it has such a, it could potentially benefit so many people.
I may have a controversial opinion on this. While I do not, I'm perfectly fine with the legalization of weed, but I do believe that it does have harmful effects on individuals.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about treatment of cancer or PTSD, and I think there is sufficient medical evidence, but I've been seeing quite a few controlled studies globally.
Sure.
That show increased rates of mental health issues, et cetera, among casual recreational smokers.
I agreed to allow Zach to color my beard blue.
But that doesn't mean that I think it should be made illegal. I mean, I'm sitting here enjoying a glass of Merlot, which comes with its own health hazards, right?
Yeah.
Or any type of alcohol or cigarettes or anything else that we like to do as Americans.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that just because it is medically shown to be bad for you, that it needs to be outright banned from acquisition at all. But I do think that it should be controlled, regulated, sold, taxed, and that could probably be the best of both worlds. You make it legal, but then it's also not being used by 13-year-olds on the street. It's a little more controlled than that.
You legalize it and you take away the Department of Justice,
the crime, the thieves, the underground, the black markets,
the guarantee that our law enforcement will continue to funnel black and brown people in the United States through the prison system, because I'm still fundamentally in the belief that our prison system is modern day slavery. And
before we went on vacation, we had predictions, and I predicted in our last show that Trump would kidnap the leader of Venezuela. So I want you to go back and play that tape to show how prescient I was.
I'm glad you brought that up. I don't have it on me, but I agree. Yes, you did. I feel I agree.
I called it.
I don't think
3 weeks in advance. I called it.
I don't think any of my predictions have come true yet, but I do not believe that Donald Trump has more than 2, 3, 4 months left in this existence. I think that based and this will be the last thing we talk about tonight, but I think that based on his press conference to announce.
I haven't watched anything that he says. I'm not watching him anymore. If I see that there's a video with him in it or speaking, I'm not watching it. Ever since that last episode where we watched him give that dumb speech, I've just lost any interest in anything he says or to be on the death watch. I disagree. I still think he's got 3 to 4 decades left in him. I don't care how low energy he is or how rambly he gets. He's going to be president for the next 30 years.
Well,
that's my sour prediction.
Well, at some point we need to discuss what maybe we can save it for a future episode, but we need to discuss what we define as our line to an exit. Because I have
talking about the Clooney route. Is that what we're talking about?
Potentially, that basically for me and my family, if we don't have elections in 2028, if for some reason we don't have an election because there's been martial law or some national crisis has been created, that will be the line for me, and I'll make my exit. So
you'll probably head to a nice, safe, neutral country like Greenland where you can get away from all this craziness.
Denmark is not on my list. Norway, Sweden, and Finland are. So I actually have a friend who is an immigration lawyer that has given me some information about what it is that we need to do to prepare for a situation like that. And that's something that I'm giving some serious consideration to. So we'll see. Final thought?
I feel like I've seen videos where people have created fake newscasts.
Yeah.
And made like their parent watch it, unsuspectingly. Have you seen these prank videos?
Yeah.
Like some of them I saw, it was like a fake news broadcast that had like the parent's face as a wanted suspect in a robbery.
Nice.
And the parent's like, what the hell? And others, one was it was a natural disaster, like asteroids were about to hit Earth, and it was very realistic looking news. And the wife is just running around the house trying to call her family and like, Mom, what are you doing? Can't you see this is the end of the world? We have to go.
Hey,
she's freaking out.
Speaking of that, Greenland 2 comes out Friday. So
Greenland was an amazing movie. That was
a
fantastic movie.
This weekend, I wound up watching several Gerard Butler movies, including Olympus.
Why would you watch several Gerard Butler movies? Is this Gerard Butler weekend? What is this?
Look, it was TBS.
You got a man crush? What's the deal?
I do like Gerard Butler.
You brought up 300, right? That's how you started this episode.
P.S. I Love You was an incredible movie, and I took a picture of myself under the bridge in Ireland, in Wicklow County. or County Wicklow, where that movie had that scene filmed. So,
Okay.
Anyway, good episode. I appreciate you moving the time up for me.
Do you want to make it permanently at this time? Does that work better for you?
Yeah, if it works better for you, it works better for me. So
done deal.
Right.
I got to go work on. I got a best of coming up on Wednesday. I'm going to try to push out.
Fantastic.
And then we'll be back to live recording in a couple of weeks, middle of January.
Great. I am really glad that Dr. Jamil was talked into returning to do the podcast, because I'm going to be honest, listening to the last episode, it felt like there was the possibility that maybe in her mind she was like, maybe I can get out of this. But interesting twist. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm glad to hear that she's going to be coming back, and you all are going to be putting more episodes out there, because I enjoy them. And my mother is absolutely a fan. She was hoping that when we had lunch the other day that Dr. Jamil was going to be there, and I could give her a hug for my mom. So I didn't give you a hug because she didn't tell me to. So
Dr. Jamil and I are not connected at the hip. We do have separate lives, separate things going on. But no, I've even asked her, I said, at any time you feeling tired of doing it, she's like, oh, hell no. She loves every second of it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
She really does. She really enjoys it.
All right. Well, I guess on that bombshell, we'll wrap it up. Big thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, you can follow Bill at politicalbillsc and myself at Barrett Gruber. Thank you for liking and hitting that bell. And if you can, give us a 5-star review and leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself. There you go.